Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about speed ramping and more specifically smooth speed ramping. Previously I've done a tutorial on the fast forward effect. If you haven't seen that tutorial, be sure to check that out. It'll be linked below. Now this tutorial is going to be showing you how to do a smooth dynamic speed ramp, as in you can control every parameter to slow it down to almost frozen and then reverse it. So we're going to jump into this tutorial, but be sure to click that thumbs up and subscribe because I'm going to be making some more stuff in the future. All right, so let's check out the clips we're going to be working with. The first clip that we have here is in slow motion, and I did a flip off this little ledge while I was out in Iceland. And the next clip we have is just walking on the black sand beach. A speed ramp is basically when you are changing the speed of your subject in a smooth manner. However, when I normally would change the speed, I would just change the speed of the clip, so when you go to it, it actually kind of is a harsh cut. The speed ramp actually takes that away. So let's show you how to do it. When you have your clip, it helps if you increase the size of your video layer just so you can see your speed ramp. So all you have to do is go over to the video layer that your video is on and drag it up. Now, the first thing you'll notice is up on the top left of your clip, there is an FX button. Right click on that and go to time remapping and then select speed. Now that you select speed, our window kind of changed a little bit. So there's this line right here. If you drag this line up, you'll see a percentage indicator starting to increase and decrease. I'm going to drag this all the way up to around 300% because since I shot this in 96 frames per second, 300% should bring it back to almost normal speed. So now my clip is kind of in normal speed. Now the cool thing is I can drag this all the way down and then start to get some really slow stuff where it's not even moving, but we're going to keep it at 300% for now. So now let me show you how to create a speed ramp. Since we have our clip right here, all you have to do is hit Control on your keyboard and it will bring up this little plus sign. And if you notice, if we go over here to the Effects Controls tab, you'll see that the speed remapping is selected right here. So if we hit Control and we select an area that we want to change the speed, you'll notice that it creates a keyframe down here as well as up here. So now this basically split our speed ramp in half without cutting the clip. So the right portion, we can change the speed by dragging it down. And if we drag it down to, let's say about 80%, we'll see what happens if we just play back through it. It was like a harsh cut. So right there is when the slow motion happened and it wasn't very smooth. So how we smooth that out is very simple. We click on the center marker right here and drag to the right. When we drag to the right, we're actually creating a little ramp. Now, if we play back through this, you'll see that it starts to slow down in that ramp. Now, we can even get a smoother ramp if we click this top area and drag to the left. That will create a bezier on our ramp. The thing that's kind of confusing about a speed ramp is that if you alter anything before the speed ramp, it'll alter the end of the speed ramp. So if we look at the end, we can kind of see that my left foot's planted and my right foot's coming up. Now, if I drag this to the left a little bit, let's say over here, now my left foot isn't planted, my right foot's down. So keep in mind that if you change anything before, it's going to affect the later half of the clip. So now that we have this right here, let's make this speed ramp a little bit quicker. So all we have to do is hit Control on the keyboard, and we're going to drag this one up to, let's say about 800%. And notice what happened. This back end of the clip actually came in because if I decrease the speed, this clip's going to get longer because slower speeds means more clip. So I'm going to drag this all the way back up to 900% and you'll see that it's right there. And let's watch what happens. I don't want it to be a harsh cut. I want to drag this to the right a tiny bit so that our ramp is actually a bezier, but it happens so fast. That's pretty nice like that. I'm going to drag this out a little bit more so we get this effect. Okay, so I don't want that speed ramp to last that long, so I'm going to hit Control right at the very peak of it and drag this all the way back down to the bottom. And you'll notice that you kind of can't drag anymore, but you just have to release the button and click and drag again. So now I'm going to drag that down to 60%. All I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit and click on my second keyframes and drag that out just a tiny bit. I'm also going to click on them again and create a little bezier like so. I created a smooth little fast forward effect. And the cool thing about this is that I said everything was dynamic. So if I don't like how fast that is, I can click and drag it out. Or like I said before, I can click the beginning and drag it a little bit to adjust that as well. So let's see what this looks like. Awesome. And I'm actually going to slow this down a little bit more so it tapers off a little bit slower. So I actually don't like how that looks. And let's try that one. This is why it's cool, because if you actually want it to go a little bit slower, you can, and then it slows down to nothing. Or if you just wanted it to happen really fast, you could change the speed of everything and make this a really dynamic speed ramp. Let's jump on to our next clip to show you how to adjust a clip that you want. So this clip right here, I'm doing a backflip off this ledge. Again, it's in slow motion. So what I need to do is pick a point where I want to actually start the slow motion. And this makes sense in a little bit. Make sure you right click on the FX button, go to time remapping and click on speed. Now I'm going to hit control and create a keyframe right here. I'm going to drag the left portion of this video up to about 300%, because remember what I said earlier, that will make this almost seem normal speed. So if we play this back, you'll see it looks like this. Normal speed, and then it goes to slow motion. Right here, it jumps into slow motion as I'm going, and then when I'm landing, I kind of want it to go to normal speed again. So all we have to do is right about here, I want it to start to speed up to normal speed, and then on the right portion of it, I'm going to drag this up to about 300%. So if we play back through this, you'll see it looks like this. Cuts to slow motion and then goes back up to normal speed. So we want to create a speed ramp with these to smooth out those cuts, so it's actually smooth and dynamic. All we have to do is drag our first one to the right a little bit, and then drag our last one to the right a little bit as well. And then, as you guessed it, we're going to create a bezier on both of these speed ramps. So now it looks like this, slow motion, and then it goes back up to normal speed. Now say I want this normal speed to happen right about here. All we have to do is drag the beginning of our speed ramp to right about there, and then click and drag this to our end to see where we want it to fully end. Up in the program window area up here, you'll see that as soon as I click and drag this, it holds up a indicator of what it's going to look like at the very end of this clip. So right about there, when I'm on my back, is when I want this clip to be at full normal speed. So now it looks like this. I'm flipping, and then slowly it'll go back up to normal speed. And now if I drag this to the right a little bit, you'll see the full end of the clip. It's completely in normal speed. So this effect is very cool, and it allows you for a more dynamic speed adjustment tool. However, when you go really slow, like in the beginning video clips right here, reminder that you should use optical flow when you are using this type of slow motion. So right click on your clips and go to speed and duration. Make sure under time interpolation, optical flow is checked. And now once it's checked, all you have to do is click X on your keyboard to highlight the whole area, and click on sequence and render into out. That will show you what it's going to look like when you export this clip. Well, hopefully you guys learned something today, and if you did, be sure to click that thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm going to be making some more stuff in the future. I'll see you next time.